infrastructure has grown, damage could also be much greater. While the tri-state area hasn't been hit with a major disaster in a long time, evidence of change is already sweeping the nation. Scientists say extreme flooding, scorching temperatures, and rising sea levels are in part caused by climate change. It's a term we hear on the nightly news almost every day. But what is climate change?
For example, in this region, the projections are that the number of 90-degree days in the summer in the tri-state region is going to increase in the future. And how much it increases is going to depend on how much we continue to emit greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.
Dr. Miller says because of climate change, weather patterns and precipitation are transforming. Water is rushing through areas that are normally dry. Roads look more like rivers, families are being evacuated, and homes are being swept away. That's happening in the Midwest this spring, but it's a scene not unfamiliar to the East Coast. In the spring of 2007, flooding ravaged the tri-state region. Families forced out of their homes and memories washed away. For some, it meant a struggle they could never imagine. This isn't a lake. It's Chris Pawelski's onion farm in the spring of 2007, a sight he hopes never to see again. Last year, this was all underwater. Pawelski lost 40 acres of onions, and crop insurance didn't cover much. It was about $40,000 down the drain. For this farmer, when it rains, it pours. If he's not hit with massive flooding, it's a devastating drought, or even hail. A trifecta of weather his father and grandfather never saw when this farm was theirs.
It's not normal. I mean, you know, when I grew up as a kid, I remember one year we had hail in the early 80s, but I do not recall. I remember summers, springs were nice and warm, they started off cooler, it got warm as the year progressed. You get a little bit of rain, you have a thunderstorm every so often, some lightning, some rains in July, and you have a nice dry September and August, and you'd harvest your crop and that'd be it. But these weather disasters over these last few years have just been unusual.
Scientists like Dr. Miller say we are in a place we haven't seen before. More building means more people, which in turn creates a greater detriment to our changing environment. Now, we've discussed the possibilities of disaster on our doorstep. Tomorrow we'll find out if we're ready. That's tomorrow night right here on RFL. Coming up next, we turn to tonight's debate as hard